Welcome as the AEL High School League. My name is Fetch. This is Gex. We have been waiting a long time to do an AEL stream, I believe. I don't know, we might have done one last year, but I think, it's been a long time in the making. Of course, we're both very excited to bring you 3 back-to-back series of high school Rocket League action. It is, of course, week 3, as you were able to see in that startup bracket, startup screen, I should say. But yeah, wasting no time, because we're already a little bit behind schedule. Do want to give a quick shout-out to all of our wonderful sponsors before we get into our first match.
Of course, it's so important to shout out the people that can make all of this possible. Of course, the number one person in that category has to be our presenting partner, Acer Predator Gaming, providing all of our gaming and educational PC needs, empowering this high school league. So very, very important shout out to them as our number one sponsor here. Federal government as well coming in as an educational partner, learning about managing money and financial capability at moneymanaged.gov.au. Go and check that out if you want to make sure that your future is secured. So third up is ViewSonic, the education partner as well there.
If we are able to take one quick second, you might need to mute your camera, your webcam through the website link we're using. Yeah, all good. Sorry, for some reason it hadn't been coming through until just then, halfway through the sponsor read. My apologies for that. All right, let's go.
Still got two to get through though. AOC Monda. The gaming monitor partner for today is giving the best gaming experience in their large range of gaming monitors. So very important differentiation from those interactive displays from ViewSonic. AOC providing that gaming differential there. Rig Gaming is our headset partner as well for gaming there as well. Experience that great sound with Rig's gaming range of headsets. Some great clarity there.
Yeah, and a lot of those things you can, again, when we're starting to do live events again, you will be able to try out for yourselves at these wonderful AEL live events, which I love. I kind of missing out on. Pandemic's been rough in a lot of ways, but this has been one which I've definitely felt the lack of. But we will be jumping into our first game very soon, I believe. And that match, unless my schedule is very, very much mistaken, is going to be the Ripley Raptors against the Locker Boys, which is 2 of the more creative names I think we've heard in Rocket League in a little while.
That's definitely coming up there for me. I've had some interesting names come out of the Asian scene recently, but that's still up there. So yeah, good work to them for finding something individual.
Yeah. That's an interesting match, because I think that, looking at the old challenge board, I believe that both of these teams are undefeated, but one of them has actually only played 1 game, which sort of puts you in this interesting situation where it's like, well, I mean, you have a potential winning streak, technically you are undefeated, but you have a lot yet to prove. It hopefully should give us a decent sort of matchup. Of course, in these group stages, we've seen entirely 3-0s. I'm not going to say a lot of 3-0s because it has been very one-sided. That's the nature of the groups. We're kind of trying to jockey for positioning. Everyone's trying to prove that they're the best and come in all guns blazing, a mix of skill levels. That's kind of what the high school league really is about. So hopefully this series should give us something a bit more. 2 undefeated teams determining which one of them will keep going and keep pushing their undefeated streak. I think the team who has more of those wins is sort of the team I'd favor, but yeah, I don't know. You got any kind of insight on this, or?
No, I mean, I'm coming in for the high school scene today for the first time right now. I haven't done anything with a high school before. I'm usually over on the university side of things, so I'm just I'm curious to see what this level of play can really bring out here. I have had some involvement with some high school level play around the region, but this will be the first time here for AEL, so really looking forward to what these guys have to offer.
It's a pretty good day pretty good week, I guess, to jump into it, because I had a bit of a sneak preview of some of these games. I think this one is personally the one I'm the most excited for, but yeah, there will be some sort of interesting matches back and forth. It's always a great time playing High School League. I'll admit, because this is my first year doing it as well, I'll admit, I kind of expected the skill level to be a lot lower than it is, but of course with Rocket League, there are so many of these incredible young players coming up through the oceanic scene that this is where it starts, and this is where a lot of them are really sort of making their name. So there's been some incredible talent and some incredible plays as well. Of course, again, we do have a lot of different people playing. There's quite a variety of skill levels, but the top level sort of play we've seen has been really, really strong. It's been like, yeah, it's been really impressive. So I kind of hope we see more of that. It'd be kind of disappointing to bring you in for your first series and not have on display the full range of talent from the high school leagues. But of course, we will be getting to our game very soon. We are just waiting for one more team to join, and it should be good. I'm keen. I'm excited.
I do believe one of the teams today actually is only going to be playing with 2 players, so that could hamper them drastically here as well. So we are seeing players filter in though, and it's going to be interesting to see just how well they match up despite that discrepancy. 3v2 does not normally turn out particularly well for the 2.
Well, okay, here's the thing, right? This is AEL, and we have 3v2s way more of the time than we probably should have, and they don't always go the way of the 3. So I don't know what to make of this. It is kind of a classic, you know, it's like, along with, you know, the goalpost being the hero of the day and turning the tide of matches, you know, the own goals, whole deal. You know, we have everything at AEL, including 3v2s. But, you know, we talk a lot about them if you have good rotations, because at this level, this isn't a professional game, right? This isn't RLCS or anything like that, which means that, like, a team of 2 who's well coordinated and is set up properly can still exploit mistakes from the trio on the other side. The players are in, though, so I think we should be starting the match very, very soon.
I think one of the things that makes that 3v2 interesting is that both of these teams have not had a loss yet. Ripley Raptors only have played out 1 match, though, where the Locker Boys have played out 3, I believe. So should be interesting to see what happens out of this, as one team comes in down a player, but the actual matches played is quite uneven here as well. So maybe not a lot of history behind the Ripley Raptors. They might be able to step up regardless of the situation. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, all right. I've given them the get in the game thing, and it looks like they are doing just that. So I'm going to pass you to the pitch. Oh, that's a lot of black screens. That is exciting. This was working fine a second ago, I swear. Okay, there it is. It's good. It's fine. We just needed to give it some time. We just need to let it breathe. It's okay. All right, so we're going to have the Raptors in blue. That's going to be Invor, Radiator Boy, easy peasy. And in the orange, of course, it's going to be the Locker Boys, THN Gliz, and THN Handy. They've got the clan tags, the team tags, whatever you want to call them. That's going to be a big buff for them. That's a strong buff right there.
For a good close game here, it's kind of what I wanted to see, being the Locker Boys with that with the player down here. They've got the most experience in this tournament so far, and realistically should have been the preference coming in here probably. But on the same hand, like we were talking about, just not as much history with the other team, so it could go either way here. And definitely being that it is that 3v2. Could throw some difference in there.
Yeah, and if you chuck a demo win like that, it becomes a 1v3, and if you can't score on a 1v3, I don't know, man. I don't know. That was a very close shot off that top crossbar, though. Bit of an attempt on the breakaway from our orange team right here for the Locker Boys, but they just weren't able to capitalize on it. It's first game, though. It's still relaxed. It's still calm. We're still figuring out how the series is going to look.
Well, already seeing some GCs in here for the high school tournament. So, you know, like you were saying, some fairly high-level play coming out from these high school players. Definitely what you want to see out of them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there is some, these players don't mess around. I think that's kind of the thing which surprised me. Gliz going for an attempt there, a double commit, means Invor might be able to clear it through to the goal, and that's the weakness of the, well, it's the weakness of having a player down, but more to the point, it is a weakness of that big double commit. You got to be super certain that you're going to be making the right play.
I think it's definitely more the double commit there, because actually if you looked across, Easy Peasy was sitting on the side. Looks like he's opting to let this be a 2v2 here.
Ooh, the handshake. It could be internet issues as well. I don't want to, like, look, I appreciate it. I think the 2v2 is kind of cool. I think 2v2 is an underrated format. But, you know, it could still be internet issues. So let's not, yeah, there it is. There are, you know, 3 players back. The defenders take each other out. They do manage to clear the ball away long enough to get back onto that one. But yeah, it's already an interesting series just into our first game, as we expect from the high school league. And that was a relatively open goal. Shot off the corner, was put in by Radiator Boy, but a bit tense for a second there.
Well collected at the end there. Talking about internet issues there, got to talk about the fact that Handy seems to be experiencing some packet loss along here as well, so might even be moving around field a little unexpectedly for him. So have been seeing that orange marker on him since the beginning of game. Right now though, that's nearly a kickoff goal. Radiator Boy is going to pick it up.
Yeah, it should be a good setup here. I mean, it's, the ball's in the right position, but there wasn't anyone able to follow up with it. Three players were pushing up a little bit aggressively, but obviously not enough to really kind of stop the counter-attack coming through. Our only two players, they have to use their resources pretty well for our orange side. Not able to really get a connection on that one. A bit of an awkward touch in the defense. I mean, maybe it's that internet issues. There's a lot of things which can go wrong in this game, but it did just look like an sort of awkward situation from start to finish there.
Yeah, and we've already seen both of these guys show up fairly well in the save department already. Both have one to their name. Of course, this blue side here, the Locker Boys, the Ripley Raptors have actually been 0 saves across the board because they haven't had to. There's been no challenge on net.
Yeah, that's, I mean, hey, look, it's shots which matter, right? If I've learned anything from casting with Formal, it's that a good offense is a good game plan. That's all you need, right? So, who cares about saves, really? Come on, it's not that. But yeah, you know, obviously you want to see some pressure coming in on the other side of the field as well. You want to see the full grounded sort of, I should say, kind of gameplay coming in from both of these teams. It is hard to judge though when it is a 3v2, when one of the players on the side of the two is having some potential internet problems. It's so hard to make judgments on how good these teams are, and that's kind of been a bit of the story so far of the league. But, you know, as we go through, I'm sure we'll see more games from both these teams.
Does seem that Handy's ping issues have cleared themselves up actually now. Green across the board here. Invor will send that high. Radiator Boy trying to turn on it. It will end up in midfield. There's another demo and Glizz. They are really, really making it hard for the Locker Boys here.
It's certainly not easy, but I mean, as it stands right now, you know, they already do have sort of 3 goals. I was actually thinking a little bit as well about how the Raptors aren't really going in for this big kill shot. They're not trying to finish off the play just yet. But at the end of the day, you do have a 3-goal lead. There's no point, I guess. You don't have to capitalize on every single attacking play. And to be fair, maybe the Locker Boys stepped up a little bit, but it is still kind of like, it's one of those things where it favors, the Raptors are in such control of the game. I don't think the rest of it kind of really matters. You can talk about the minute details of, well, they should be able to execute on this attack a bit better and whatnot. You could debate that they're trying to not play as aggressive so they can just seal off this win without, you know, ticking the timer down any more than it has to. But, yeah, at the end of the day, it's 3-0 in a 2v1. 3v2. You know, what else are you going to say about it?
Yeah, and despite not shooting on net here and scoring more, it is running down the clock. And with that 3-0 lead, it's kind of what a lot of your game plan is going to be at this point, just making sure that you can eliminate the chances for any comeback here. And the more time the ball spends in your possession, the higher your chance of being able to do that. Right now, it's looking like a clean sweep out of game 1. 10 seconds left, and 3-0 is the scoreline. They're still firing on target, and Easy Peasy might take one for the road as well, but no, it's going to go home 3-0 here, unless Invor keeps it up. Easy Peasy gets a shot, it's in! Oh my goodness! Touches the ground on goal line.
Yeah, there it is. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't make much of a difference. It's 4-0 versus 3-0. Oh wait, no, it did touch the score. Oh my god, I thought that, I just assumed that went over. I was already like trying to change the scores and I was like, oh, it's fine. But yeah, damn, that was as close as you get. But of course, you know, the game itself, is, it was always going to go that way. That was how it was always going to end up in general. But as it stands, that is going to be the first game going over to the Ripley Raptors, as we see at the top of our screen. You talked about sort of ticking that time, you know, letting that time tick down, not going for the goals intentionally. We did see last week an 18-0 scoreline, and that I believe was our record for the largest number of goals. So some of these teams will be trying to go for that. Some of these teams don't care about just sitting there and taking the win. They are going to go for that, like big scoreline, and it's going to be interesting to see. Okay, we might need a remake here, unless we're playing 1v1s now. I'd be down with that.
I've left it on random, but I forgot to make sure it was ranked maps only.
Oh, but that's the best map. Okay, I thought it was the I couldn't see from the angle I was looking at. I couldn't see the little like
that
edge
was
boards.
old school Tokyo. That's
Such a good
I agree.
map.
It's a brilliant map, but I don't think the guys really were a fan of playing that one out.
That's very good, actually. That's very, very good. I think that they're cowards for that. Honestly, it's already a 3v2. We're already having a bit of fun with it. Let's go to the no. Okay. I joke, but you know, genuinely probably should remake that one.
Yeah, we are back in now, I believe. If you want to rejoin from the party.
Yep.
This should
I would throw
be
it in the game and I don't know what it was. It was very confusing. But I should be in a party match now. All right.
I think we got
go.
Champions Field here now, and the guys should be pretty happy about that. We're just waiting for them to filter in again now.
All right, cool. Yeah,
All
no,
right.
I am. There are people in this match, and I am very confused.
Okay, let me.
All right, I'm gonna pass it back to
Remake
us. I'm gonna
that
pass
again?
it back to the caster cams because there is there is some weird stuff going on in this game. But hey,
I was sitting in a match on my own, nothing happening. That
that's
was cool.
weird because I was in there with I think the Locker Boys, and there was just 3 people randomly playing a 2v1. Rocket League is very funny sometimes. I enjoy some of the bits which come out of this. Some of the bits which the game itself does, where it's like, hey, you're playing in a game with randoms now. It's just how it happens. So yeah. Anyway, that's how Rocket League goes. We've made a new map. It's very good. I like this one. My brain's blanked on it. Is it Olympia?
Yes.
Yes, there we are. All right, I got it. Yeah, it's one of the nicer ones. It's like as we've determined before, it's the meme
I was going
field.
to say Coliseum.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
weird.
It
Yeah.
very much is.
Yeah,
It prompts some incredible gameplay for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is where I think we've had like 3 Scarab versus Scarab matches, and they've all been on this map. It's ridiculous. There wasn't even like we planned it. It was just like one team was like, we're gonna play Scarabs today, and it happened to be this map. And honestly, I think that's beautiful. We will have to see what these teams do have in store. If they can raise the game from that, it's very hard, but you know, to raise it from Scarab versus Scarab gameplay. But yeah, in the bigger news in terms of the series, it is still a 1-0 scoreline at the moment. Of course, I kind of wish I could bring like the overlay from the game onto this screen so people could see the current scoreline. But yeah, the Locker Boys struggling a little bit. Raptors getting that first game on them, of course. You know, playing into the deficit is a bit tricky. Some of the potential latency issues, things like that. You know, that's just kind of how it goes. But you know, that's Rocket League, that's esports. We need to get through these games, and you know, it's not like there isn't potential for the Locker Boys to try and come back.
We are just waiting for one team, but it looks like we're going to have to remake it again because one of the team has jumped the gun completely.
This is classic Rocket League, to be fair. How about I
Yeah.
toss it to a break instead of us trying to fill time while we make sure that everyone's on the same page? How about I throw us to a quick be right back, and I'll be back very shortly, I'm sure. go. We are back. All the players are back in the lobby. The second they join the game, we're going to be going back into game ourselves. I'm going to get it ready for you all, so it's all nice and pretty when we pass over. I think it should be very soon. There it is. What a pretty stadium. How wonderful it is indeed. Of course, the scores are still going to stand as they are. On the top of your screen, Ripley Raptors are 1, Locker Boys are 0. And we have a look at the players again. It is still going to be a 2v3 right now. Wait, they swapped sides. I think they're on the wrong sides. Oh my god. Sorry, I just peaked your mic with my complaining. I complete my mic with my complaining there, but
you can change that on your end, right? We can sort this. There's things to be done.
Not
surely.
easily.
We're not restarting this one. I've waited long enough.
Oh boy.
Maybe.
It's fine.
We're gonna have to continue with this. Okay, I'll keep talking if you want to give some time to sorting this, and we can just make them rejoin this side.
I'd have to take it off and change the whole thing. Are they swapping? Because they could just, swap sides. There aren't made any goals yet. That's what I was kind of going for. They've clearly got the message. They're on the wrong sides. Oh boy. All right. Well. Oh no. Yeah, no, they're just hanging out. They really are just hanging out.
This is fantastic. Nobody is listening to instruction in the match, and that's going to be 1-0 now, so we won't be able to change it. That's very, very cool.
Okay. Well, here's the thing.
Remaking again.
For those of you who
Let's go.
Yeah, for those of you,
we got this.
yeah. For those of you who used to watch old school Rocket League, there was a lot of this because the servers would just crash randomly, or there was the issue which we're talking about. I think we were talking about it off stream. I've lost track now. Where the actually as beautiful as our cars are, I'll let you see our faces instead. Hello and welcome back. Yeah, as I don't know if we're talking about this off stream or not, but in old school Rocket League, if one person joined this a team at all, even by misclick, even if they slight hand spasm, they click the thing by accident, it doesn't matter if they leave, it doesn't matter what happens, that game's going ahead. If not everyone's ready to go right away, if the broadcast isn't ready, that game's just going and you had to remake. So you'd have 6 remakes per broadcast. It was awful. And this is just giving me nostalgia, This is just making me remember the good old times. Do we want to pass it back to another break while we get this sorted out? While we
we've got the lobby up. Give it 1 second. Let's give it 1 second.
All right. Oh, this is another map I like though. This is another field.
Yeah. Okay. This is good. This is good. This is good.
This is the series.
Station. I can't never remember.
I don't know.
What's it called? Station. That's what we're going with.
Ooh, I like that. It's got a clock on it. I think the clock's cool.
It does. Yeah. It's supposed to be like a Grand Central Station sort of thing.
Yeah. And it does kind of have that feel, right? It's not like a specific train station. It's just got the right energy. And honestly, train stations are very, very wonderful places sometimes. They make you feel good. Oh, everyone's in the matches. It looks like everyone's in the right spots.
We actually have everybody in there on the right sides.
Let's go! All right.
It will be 0-0. The call was made to swap sides before that goal was scored, so there's not much we can do about that.
Yeah. Honestly, like we said, Ripley Raptors, who are in the blue, they are 1 game up. The Locker Boys are going to be on 0. And, it is still a 2v3. I did wonder, because sometimes between games there are players who will sub in as long as they're already registered. Big attempt, actually, by Handy. Yeah, I kind of wasn't ready for how strong the attack was coming out there. Hopefully the internet settled down for all of these players. Bad shots getting on the corner. Crossbar gets it. 4 players go up for it, and no one's able to put it in.
Locker Boys just barely escaping certain death there. It's not enough. Easy peasy. He'll put one away again for Ripley Raptors. And that means that still Locker Boys are looking for their first goal in this match and already 1 down.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Bit of an unfortunate situation for them, but it is, it is kind of the way to numbers. I'm sorry to keep harping on that, but it is the fundamental point there. It was like a rugby scrum, that, And if you have 3 players on one side and 2 players on the other, this is pretty easy as to where that goes. That was a really nice smother by Invor.
Yeah, the dunk comes out, and it's really well placed as well. Got the angle very, very nicely there through the gap. Easy peasy underneath as well. could have been a blocking factor to that, but they are too good for that.
I'm gonna give everyone an insight into behind the scenes there. I think it was fine on broadcast, but I just got a pop-up saying that everything is broken. And I was so scared for a second.
Cool.
I was like, no, this is not happening. But it's fine. It didn't change anything. It was all good. It was it was one of those computers being silly and hyper, like, oh, that was almost the best save of the season, but not quite enough.
Yeah, the diving save came across, but it just wasn't enough. Glizz, that was brilliant attempt, but easy peasy there to collect that one again. He is coming up as quite the striker.
Yeah, and 3 goals really early in this game, 1 minute on the clock. I mean, even with this sort of disadvantage with the Locker boys are playing with, it is just strong kind of attacks. It's quick-fired pace from the Ripley Raptors, and I really like to see that as, it's something which can be really hard to put together, especially at a level like this. That might have been a bit of a mistake, but easy peasy does just come up with a quick turnaround to be able to save that one as well.
Easy had come off the wall of the goal and maintained his flip there as if he'd come off a ceiling, and was able to flip right in front of the ball at the last moment. That was a brilliant save. And this is kind of the performance I was really hoping to see out of a team that's only played 1 match so far. They're really showing us what they've got right now. Pushing through, easy peasy. No, he's going to save it away from Radiator.
And Glizz is just turtling, just hanging out on the roof.
Glizz has had enough.
Glizz has had enough. This certainly has, okay, we had Utopia. And that was we were like, it's gonna be memes in this series. The second that happened, we knew that was what was gonna be the case, and it certainly has been a multi-dimensional memeage shenanigan fest so far. Oh, that was almost an attempt. That clearance across the goal was not nearly fast enough to be saved, but Invor has an open opportunity. Actually, it's Radiator who does get it. Oh, a 3-touch for that. I think that was a 1-2-3, a classic. If it was, look. If it wasn't a little bit awkward, I would have said that was the classic play, but it didn't quite come together maybe as well as they might have liked.
Plus, I mean, as good as a play is, it always gets made worse to look at when you know that the defense is not going to be able to be as strong. It does come down to that factor once again of it being a 3v2. You're not going to have the defense to force out the best from this blue side, but they are 5-0 up right now, and they don't need to display their best to hold on to a lead like this.
Something I want to know is what the Locker boys look like on attack, because they've had a few missed opportunities, right? What we can kind of summarize from a lack of complete information is that they aren't always able to make these passes connect. They have a pretty good setup though. They're able to break through the defensive line in spite of having the numbers disadvantage we're talking about the entire time. But yeah, there's the passes aren't quite connecting, or they're not quite on the same page or something. And sometimes that third player can make the difference in that, in terms of being the one who's able to coordinate things, the one who's able to connect with players and things like that. So I would like to see a little more of them. Invor with a really big bump to knock that defender out to set Radiator Boy up that easily.
I think you've got a good point there. That I'd love to see some aggressive forward play from the side of 2 players here with the Locker boys, but we know that they are capable of that because they are currently sitting top of the leaderboard for the competition now with 9 points. The only team to win 3 consecutive matches there. Dayla Knights coming closest there of the other teams who have played out 3 matches, but they did take 1 loss along the way. So Locker boys have to be able to perform well on the offensive side if they're going to take a scoreline like that. It's just unfortunate we're not able to see it out of them.
Yeah, and that is, obviously it's unfortunate. We can say as many things we want about it. It is just one of these games where this is going to happen, and it's going to be, of course, their first defeat, as we kind of highlighted earlier, the 2 undefeated teams with, very different very different runs, very different schedules so far. And to be fair, this match was actually going to be, could have had impact for, as weird as it is to say, this could have had an impact for who is the top team coming out of this group. We are pretty well through the season at this point. Of course, teams will play games on different schedules. That's why we have one team who's played a bunch of games, one team who's only played one. But it's week 3. There's only a couple more weeks of regular season, I believe, and then we'll go straight into finals. Oh, that was beautiful.
Finally, as soon as they get on attack, Handy able to get up high and snipe a shot down the goal. The read off of Radiator high in that wall makes that shot brilliant.
Yeah, and the angle, the height, like you said, the read on the play is just really, really good. And this is kind of what we wanted to see. We wanted to see that attack. We wanted to see if they had something like that in the bag that they could kind of pull out. And yeah, clearly they do.
I have to say, despite the circumstances, I do think here that Ripley Raptors are really showing that had that schedule lined up, they may have been the team here with that 3-0 scoreline. They are playing particularly well as a team, not just as individual players. They are a roster here.
Yeah, and that's really important, you know, like, obviously at low level people always talk about mechanics and things like that, like the team who has the better mechanics is going to be able to overwhelm people. We have seen these team plays make the difference. There is a strong enough contingent of players for these passing plays to be the difference maker, and that's something which is really, really cool to see.
Cool, Invor going for the flip reset there, couldn't quite get it past the final defender. Easy peasy. Gonna get shut down there in the midfield, but it's not enough to make any difference to that game. Far too little, too late. At least one goal coming out there from the Locker Boys and proving exactly why they have been able to get to the top of this list, but overwhelmed not only by that 3-2 player matchup here, but outright skill from Ripley Raptors. I was very impressed by them.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, okay, actually the scoreboard has been up. I was a bit wrong with this. For some reason, I thought that the Locker Boys had won 4 games. They've only won 3. So, you know, this is their 4th game, which makes sense. That tracks numerically, but it doesn't always work like that, you know, with how teams play on different schedules. But this could put Ripley Raptors, if they're able to close this out, in contention for top spot. In fact, I think sole control of top spot, because Locker Boys will go down to 3-1. Pardon me. Which is tied with Dilla Knights. And that means the Ripley Raptors will be the only undefeated team. Of course, they still have to play, I think, Dilla Knights, but I'd have to double check the schedule. I don't know exactly, you know, again, we'd have to like double check a few things, but that could be a really good spot. This could be the Raptors running away with that first, with that first place. I don't know if I'd still put them as the best team in the league so far. We have seen some incredible play from some of the other players, but, you know, I expect them to put up a pretty good fight if they can, you know, maybe tighten up some of the sort of aspects of their play. I think Raptors have had a few gaps in their gameplay, especially giving up goals to a team who doesn't have as many players as them. But, you know, who knows? We'll have to see that as the season goes on, I think.
Oh, it is a best of 5, so there's a game left here going into what could be the last one now with Ripley Raptors on match point here. But yeah, like you said, that link just updating now for us. We can see the true score here. Easy peasy picking one up. Ripley Raptors does seem to be actually on 2 wins here, not 1.
Yeah, which is, you know, and it seems weird, but it is a big difference. Like, proving that you can win a game, great. Proving that you can win, like, multiple games and really can, like, beat other teams. It wasn't just a fluke. Yeah, that's a big difference for me. That instills a lot more confidence in this team. And, I mean, you know, closing this one out, if they can do it without too many mistakes and things like that, will just make me feel that much more confident about them. But, I don't know. I still don't know what happens if the game is an even 3v3.
Invor gonna pass that center. Easy peasy is available. Radiator Boy gets one and a second touch. Makes it home, and the second point going to the blue side already. This is going to be a quick game. 30 seconds down and already quite the scoreline.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It should be, like, according to all rules of Rocket League, according to the fundamentals, the basics, this should be a pretty easy closeout for the side of the Ripley Raptors, but who knows? We don't know. This is still Rocket League. Tiny millisecond plays can determine so much. So, we still have to wait a little bit longer and see how this game plays out. Again, like we said, the stakes there are for pretty much sole control at first. It's going to be a hell of a comeback for the Locker Boys, though, if they're going to try and make it.
That was fantastic defensive touch there by Handy. He has had to step up on a number of occasions now. The Radiator Boy will not get a strong shot there. There's a shot on target from Handy. Invor back well and truly in time for that Glizzy. That's a good touch upfield. As Radiator Boy takes control, this is going to be a tough one for Handy to save. It's not enough.
Yeah, just a solid effort. But, you know, again, what can you say about it? We've said pretty much everything we can say about this game, I think, at this point. Like, again, the skills are great. I think you can talk about small things like the demo to set it up and not necessarily to set up that play, but like the demos they're going for to try and really maximize their advantage. We can talk about changing your positioning into a 2v3. But this stuff we've said on the broadcast many times before. This is just kind of, this is how a 2v3 goes. That's about it, really.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that the Locker Boys are handling this maybe the perfect way out of a 2v3. You mentioned that just for a second there. The positioning of that 2v3 kind of play style that you have to formulate, it hasn't really been there for them. They need to formulate that aggression and speed. Speed is going to be so key for them here. Finally now, both pushed up, maybe actually a little too far for a change there. But they have been willing to let 3 players attack on their goal line and sit on defense for most of the game, looking for a chance to get response goals. You're not going to find that against 3 players.
Yeah, and I mean, they've also just been playing a bit of argy-bargy, which is, facing into a bit of argy-bargy, of course. The Raptors not being afraid to send 1 player to just kind of knock up the others around. Because, mathematics here for a second. 3 players against 2 players is... a 50% disadvantage? Wow, I can't do math. Yeah, 50% disadvantage. Whereas a 1v2 is a whole player disadvantage. You know what I mean? My brain died the second I started making that point. I don't know how it happened, but I think you get what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly, something like that. Well, okay, it depends which way you're going. Because if you have 2 players and your opposing team has 1 player, you have half as many.
Advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
And a 33.3% disadvantage? Is that... That doesn't make any sense.
It might though. It's like percentages versus percentage
I hate maths. Don't do this to me.
I'm impressed that you managed to hold on so well so far. But yeah, the difference between a 3v2 and a 2v1 is much, much greater. The 2v1 is a bigger difference. All right, I managed to dig that hole so deep. That is like that has to be a record. Side. Yeah, exactly. We're on the other side of the world now, and that's why the stadium looks so different. For anyone who's, it's like a slightly different style to the other ones, because we dug all the way through the earth. And, yeah, the world is like just a lot bigger than people thought,
Handy. Oh, it's just not quite enough purchase on the ball. I thought we might see a second there out of the Locker Boys. I think 2 goals would actually be the highest scoreline they'd come out of a game with, and that's kind of all they're fighting for right now. They want to show the best of themselves that they can here, and that's going to be just based on a scoreline thing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I would like to see a bit more aggression come out of them rather than sort of like, oh, we could possibly go for a goal here, but we might have to rotate. It's the classic point of Rocket League where it's like, if you don't commit hard enough on the attack, that's going to be a... I thought that was going to hit the side post. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, did they get a demo? Dribble it slowly across the field just to whiff. But no, it's fine. They found it. There it is. It's all good.
Easy peasy really tried to make your dreams come true there, but did manage to get out of the way in time, and Invor collected again. All players now on Ripley Raptors have 2 goals.
I'm just noticing now that there are a lot of speakers in the stadium.
There is, yes. It's supposed to be, I think it was a Fortnite map where, I don't know, something about music or something. I don't know.
That would make sense. I do like the mascot character. I think the mascot character's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But
it's actually, I think it actually is like the mascot of a particular singer or something that they use for this. Yeah.
I would not be surprised. There is a lot of sponsored content in this game. But
7-1, it's the funny number. Say it for Max.
It is.
I know he loves it.
Oh, right. We're going. We ended up in South America. That's where we ended up. I knew it looked familiar. That's what happened. Okay, it all makes sense now. It's all come together. Brazil. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was like, I was trying to figure out. We just dug a long way. We probably, based on how like the geography of the world works, we probably took a few turns there. It wasn't quite straight down. But we end up in Brazil, so I hope everyone has a good time here.
Fetch is like, I knew those speakers.
That's it. Yeah, this was like my my university days. I just listened to music, went to concerts all the time. That's I don't know, man. This game has got 1 minute left to go, and it has been a mess so far.
Well and truly over.
The stakes here are much higher though.
Oh
because right at the moment,
absolutely.
Yeah,
and like you said, it's late in the season.
But more importantly than that, the Locker Boys, they can disrupt the funny meme number if they want to. Oh no, Invor's gonna do it! Alright, never mind. Invor's betrayed the team.
Yeah, he's lost all of my respect. That's the only player in this match with a GC tag on him, and he's gonna take that shot to disrupt the funny number? How dare you, my friend?
I can't believe it.
How dare you?
Well, yeah, 44 seconds left to go. The series is probably done and dusted. This is probably, again, probably going to be the Raptors going up into sole control of first place in Group B. It's a pretty good spot to be in. You know, of course, it's only limited spots going through to our grand finals. That's going to be in a few weeks' time still, and you really want to, you know, you want to be securing as many games as you can. These guys still have quite a few, you know, a couple of teams still to play, but you know, they've put a pretty dominant display on so far. It's hard to judge too much more about their form, but you know, it's a good start. You'll take a win. A win's a win's a win, as they say.
And it is quite the win here. Very, very decisive per game and series score. Really no getting away from that 3v2 scenario here. Wasn't able to find the fight back despite being number one in the tournament right now. Locker Boys will go down, and as a result, will probably actually lose that that title.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a weird situation, right? I'd have to look at the schedule again to double check all of this sort of stuff, but we might end up in a situation where we have tiebreakers in this group, and that would be interesting. You know, that'd be an interesting spot, at least from my mind. There are kind of three teams who'd be vying for that, and that does make this group quite an interesting one. But we'll have to find out more about that sort of later on. That's bracket stuff for us to worry about in the future. I think we're going to be going, well, we're definitely going to be going to a break, and then a second series, of course, for you. Hopefully we see all 6 players in the field. I'd like that. I think that'd be good. But yeah, we're going to have to go to that after our quick break. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. And we are almost into game. Of course, this is AEL High School League. These players are not messing around. They are like, yeah, all right, we know you're behind schedule, friends. We're going to help you out by jumping straight in. Of course, I'm Fetch. This is Gex, and we are into our second game. It's Dylan Knights versus Locker Boys. We're staying in Group B, and we're sticking with a 2v3.
Pat on the backboard. This one, we got to see how this lines up, but I actually think Dayland Knights could be even scarier here. It could be an unlucky day for Ripley Raptors playing with those two players, and it's looking so already Pat's going to take the first one.
Yeah, and of course the players are Pat, Warpasaw, and Fuzzy Fruha for Dylan Knights, and Handy and Gliz. You know, we saw them the last game. We don't need to introduce them anymore. We saw them playing around the field. We saw some of the attacking attempts they tried to put forward. They are still going to be facing this 2v1, and it's really unfortunate because these are the top two teams in the group they've had to face back-to-back with the two players by themselves. The Dylan Knights are, of course, that second-place team who is now at 1-3, I believe? Yeah, 1-3. So these two teams are equal in the standings right now. It's kind of playing off for second, so it's not maybe as big, as high a stakes at playing off for first place, but it is still the sort of game which you just don't want to drop as Locker Boys.
Pat chasing this one out from his own goal line now. Takes it to the wall, gets underneath it, looking for the dribble, will lose control, but might be able to find a bump. At least a disruptive play here will be available to him. Gliz misses it completely. Handy will flip past that as well. Juked out by his teammate. The panic coming out right now from Locker Boys, but it's not turning into anything for Dayland Knights.
I love that Pat played to try to play it slow. Pat was just like, all right, I'm going to slow play this. You're going to try and do something tricky, and I'm going to capitalize on it as a goal. Oh, that was a very good save. And again, Pat playing a bit too slow for their own good. Yeah, I do appreciate that Pat was like, I'm going to slow play it and bait out your trickiness. Double commit on the defense is really dangerous when you only have two defenders. My point I was going to get to, though, before the game kept getting exciting, Pat just sort of sat there and was like, you're going to do something tricky. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to beat you out. And then the player whiffed, so Pat was kind of like, I don't know what to do now. Which is brilliant. That is peak Rocket League in my opinion.
Some really, really impressive mechanics coming out of Pat despite that slow speed earlier on. Oh no, that's going to give one away to the Locker Boys though, and despite both Handy and Gliz having moments of their pings spiking into the red because of packet loss and ping variation right now, they have managed to bring one back into this game.
Yeah, two for one at the moment. If that sort of stuff keeps up, again, we've seen upsets in this regard. We've seen 2v3s go the way of the double team, of the team of two, and that's a potential, right? That is something which the Locker Boys can take into this one. I feel like it's going to be very hard for the mental. I assume there was going to be a defender there. Whoops.
Yeah, I kind of did. It is harder to always have somebody there, though, and they were trying to form that aggressive positioning that we wanted. Just maybe not done the way we'd expect to see it.
Yeah, off the kickoff, I kind of assumed that there was someone picking up boost or something like that, but it was, yeah, it's just tempo. You know, it's just if you get slightly wrong on tempo, it makes you look like a complete nerd in a a situation like this where you're fighting down a numbers advantage. Oh, whoops.
Ugh, that's crushing. That is really spirit crushing there, and it is such a mental game, Rocket League. When you have a passing play that's missed entirely by your teammate, it can really affect the confidence in each other as a team and start to make those passes happen less, or at least capitalize on them less.
It really is, yeah, it really is hard, especially coming into a series like the last one, where there were resets, where there was just so many issues, you know, not even flip resets, you know, just game resets. And that was a pretty good play from Warpasaw. No one quite in the position to be able to defend against it, but nonetheless, a nice little shot, being able to follow up on that attempt in the clear.
Yeah, beautiful shot, read well on the wall. The pass up from the Locker Boys just gets read away.
And, you know, it's already at that point where it's probably going to be, if there is a comeback here, it's going to be the comeback of the century. You know, it's going to be something which we highlight and clip and post on Twitter every day for the rest of our lives. But that's an open goal. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Fuzzy Fruha was there.
Handy almost able to take out the last defender as well to secure that one. Gliz does get a nice touch there. Fuzzy in the way will flip away from that. Handy, an opportunity for a boost starve at the very least. Pat, we know he's got the mechanics. He gets a flip reset, doesn't get it past Gliz, but it might be back to him. Handy will make another touch, kind of dangerously high into the center field. Wasn't capitalized on there by Dayland Knights either, but a 5-1 scoreline here means Locker Boys have to do something spectacular, and Pat will take away that chance.
Yeah, and I actually still think that there's been a lot of, like, reservations. That was a very nice play from Pat, straight across the sky. straight past both defenders. Have a look at this. Did they keep control of enough to call an aerial dribble? Okay, whatever. There's a reset at the end. That's more than good enough there.
Fantastic play.
Yeah, that was incredible. Something I've noticed, though, is our blue side here, Dylan Knights. They do like playing slowly. Like, yes, Pat has incredible mechanics. There's been some good passing plays, a lot of good setup right across the board. But they really sort of expect the ball to come to them. They play it slowly, and they don't really attack the player as hard, so to speak. They don't try and contest possession like that. So if the Locker Boys take a breath between, I'm going to say this game one's probably done. If they're able to take a breath between game 1 and game 2, if they're able to look at it and be like, hang on, okay, we've figured out some kind of avenues for play, step up some of that coordination, they could play that aggressive in-your-face style and just disrupt the entire game plan from someone like a Pat. And that can really nullify some of the strengths of Dylan Knights. And I think maybe there's a chance. It's a very, very slim one. Don't get me wrong. It's
Actually,
very slim, but I can see it,
I see why the choices come out from Dylan Knights to take that slow play style. They've got the mechanics available on the team, so setups are important, and they've got the space on field because it's a 3v2. The positioning isn't going to be able to be close enough to set down setups like that if they've got the space and the time to do it. So taking that time, slowing down the play, means that players like Pat can come up huge here.
Yeah, but I think that... Oh, no. Okay, yeah, it all works out. A bit tragedy from that touch. I need to see that one again. Of course, Pat coming off the wall very, very nicely. And yeah, Handy kind of gets an unfortunate touch on that one as well. But I still think that if Locker Boys want to win this, and they do have the tiniest of chances, they have to disrupt that exact play. And here we are, second chance at our funny number. Actually, it's gonna be Handy who shuts that one down. There we are. Yeah, beautiful stuff. But yeah,
fake too.
Yeah,
he got right underneath this, faked away, then went for the shot and managed to thread the needle between two defenders there. Numbers advantage be damned. Dylan Knights 7-2 now. They've had that funny number taken away. It's happened again.
And now we're seeing an attack from the Locker Boys. Like a proper structured attack. They're not overcommitting too much. I mean, you obviously have to commit those two players eventually if you want to try and score the goals. But they're not overdoing it. They are trying to hold their spacing early. Took them 4 games, but maybe they're starting to find their feet a little bit.
Yeah, this is definitely more what you want to see. Gliz maybe a little eager on that one, but he does make the best of it. Coming upfield again. No time left for a win here, but they might be able to get some confidence behind them if they score off of this. Pat gets it away from Handy, and with the clock ticking down in Dylan Knight's possession, this will end the game for sure. Pat going for one more mechanical play. It will come out to the midfield, though. Should find ground here. Warpasaw holds it high for a second longer.
Yeah, and there it is. Dylan Knights clear out that first game. Feeling pretty confident with themselves, I'm sure, It is tricky. It is tricky when we've had back-to-back, these back-to-back 3v2s, these back-to-back struggles with sort of the numbers and things like that. But again, I still see a future where Locker Boys win this. Last series, it looked a lot harder. I don't think it looked nearly as... nearly as easy, nearly as likely, and I don't think this is likely. Again, don't get me wrong. Just kind of saying there's a chance doesn't mean that it's going to happen 100%. But the sort of that potential future where the Locker Boys do win this is, in my opinion, there. It's a possibility. I'd like to see them disrupt those setups you were talking about. I know in 2v3 it's not easy. Manage that, meter that attack like they were doing before, and everyone's in game. We're going to go and jumping into game 2 immediately.
Fuzzy does win the kickoff here, but it should go to Handy. Pat, actually a big miss there, a little out of character. Warpasaw sends it off the bar and in.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, I think that's the thing. We're focused so much on how good Pat's mechanics and things like that are, but it's not like there isn't a really, really good team behind them. It's not like Warpasaw and things like that can't put the ball up. We've seen Fuzzy Fruha come out of these really messy plays looking really, really clean, and I think that's a really important thing for these teams, because sometimes when it gets scrappy, these big fancy players aren't able to make that perfect kind of, I'm able to pull the ball out of the mess, but sometimes, you need a player who can do that as well, and I think that's something I've noticed from Fuzzy Fruha. And obviously, Warpasaw being that backup second player who's able to really set up Pat and work in that 1-2 punch really well.
Especially when it looks to me as though Pat isn't necessarily going to play like this normally. He is taking advantage of this 3-2 situation to showcase the mechanics he's got and go for almost a little bit of a freestyle in this match. And that does lend itself to the capacity of him dropping that ball like we saw just then. So you have to be able to pounce on that, and Locker Boys are on the offense right now as a result of things exactly like that. Pat will get a big clear downfield. They have time to rotate back though as it goes to corner. Fuzzy Fuha puts it center. Is there anybody there to capitalize? No, Handy will come away with it.
Okay, there was a player back. I didn't see Warpsaw off in that corner collecting the boost. It's okay for now, but a big attempt coming through there. Just a setup. Lovely, lovely stuff as we go into the ether and enjoy that goal.
Oh, the Dignitas car got me for a second there. I was looking at known goal, but it was Pat after all.
Yeah, that's always been like a particular point of tilt for me. It's the fact that you have some cars. It's like you're on the blue side, but your car's yellow or orange. I don't know. That's like the biggest bait in the game sometimes.
It's a trigger. It's an absolute trigger. Don't do this to us. Pat, misses the pre-flip onto the ball. Tried to read out the defenders there maybe as well. Handy now with an opportunity on offense. A 2-goal lead is not insurmountable even in a 3v2 if the Locker Boys can get on top of this. Gliz, a good challenge but beaten by Warpasaw, who is quickly coming up as one of the strongest players on this Dale Knights side. A good center but nobody available for the shot.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be just like the 1v1 play with that tight angle goal flick over the top, but it didn't quite work out that way. It's alright. Warpasaw going to have another attempt at this one. Tries to make it happen again solo. Had a bit of fun with it, I think it's fair to say here, but is going to give up a breakaway. It's 1v1 against Pat. Pat takes it off the attackers there, and I don't know if that was a team knock or if that was Pat. That dig car it's trolling. It's trolling a little bit. I'm just going to say it.
Warpasaw into corner, trying to back pass that, but nobody available for the take. There's a good pass in. Gliz is there as well. The space was given to them, but Pat seals the opening for that goal quite handily.
Yeah, and nothing coming of this just yet. They are trying to play the bigger, more stylish goals. They don't want to, don't want to make it too easy on themselves, of course. Dale Knights. They also want to secure this game. That's the other thing as well. It's kind of like what we talked about in our very first game, where like if you throw everything at the attack and try and just constantly score out goals, it's just going to be a longer series. And sometimes it's worth trying to sort of hold your lead like that. Handy does just get on that one. The bounce was super awkward, but it does work out for them. They might be able to run a 1v3 here. Doesn't quite work out. Pat gets the touch over the top, and Gliz is able to disrupt that play for just a little bit longer. No breakaway going to come from it though.
Pat coming off his own backboard here does have a lot of control out of this. Handy, the challenge is good. Gliz will be stuck and might be on fairly low boost there as well. Handy, that's a fantastic 50. Warpasaw comes through and just eliminates him from the play though, as Gliz makes an important touch to keep it in their end.
But they're not able to actually score off it. Actually, never mind. Handy gets it up high. Is Gliz going to be able to come through? Never mind. Handy's there. I mean, a good save by Fuzzy Fuha to keep it off to the side. The perfect little defensive touch.
Very important one, as well as one goal here could have opened that up. Now a 3-0 looking a little more dominant here for Dale Knights. That 2-0 goal line can be one of the most dangerous goal lines for the team up. It's that little bit of confidence that you get that allows you to relax a bit, and it does create openings all too often for the opponents to come through and fire something back. But once you get to this 3-0, I believe the chances, at least a few seasons ago, it was about a 90% win rate once you get to that 3-0.
That's an interesting stat, actually. I mean, we have seen some... The thing about Rocket League, like we say, I think I kind of like we mentioned that first series, is that like one or two very quick plays can turn the tide of an entire game. Like, yeah, sure, 5 minutes for a match time is very, very short, but because of how quick the play is, because of how how one tiny touch can send the ball flying across the pitch into the goal, you can get those comebacks from nothing. So seeing a 90% rate for that is actually a little bit higher than I would have thought. But it does make sense. You're up, you've probably been controlling the game, you probably are the better team if you're able to get that 3-0 lead. So that's an interesting one.
I mean, to be fair, that may have been an RLCS stat exclusively, but I cannot. It was a number of seasons ago now, but I remember it being a pretty impressive stat back then as well. And it does come across. It really does show that kind of mental game, that 3-0 is a lot more insurmountable.
Oh, absolutely. Again, it's the difference between 2 touches and 3. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but when your opponents are competent, when they are, especially in the situation when you're playing up a team like Dale Knights, they're clearly good at keeping the ball in their own hands, not giving up much control, doing big flashy plays, trying to make sure that your touches, if you find them, are awkward and not where you want to go. So it feels like a massive insurmountable task, often because of this.
Ironically, being that this is a 4-0 and nothing coming out of Locker Boys, I think this is one of the better games that Locker Boys have played. Their defense has been on target, and as soon as they've had that defense, they have been able to push upfield. They've had the confidence to go for reads and 50s, and they have come out on top a number of times. They just haven't been able to put it away. That was one of the better displays from Locker Boys. They just need to find the back of net.
Yeah, and it's sort of weird because, we always say like, the scoreline doesn't tell the whole story. It's a pretty common phrase in sports, esports in general. But yeah, like, I think you're right in that one. And it does also depend whether you value a 2-8 scoreline or an 0-4 scoreline.
Yeah.
But, again, I like to see a bit more of a display of it. I don't think, I think that sliver of hope I talked about with the Locker Boys is very dim now. It's not the most likely thing. But we could still see a display from them. We could still see skills. I think it's kind of like, how sometimes we talk about in Rocket League, the whole like whiffs are contagious kind of thing. One person whiffs and the next 3 players are guaranteed to be really messy.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of, I feel the same kind of with shenanigans, where like if one team starts doing something kind of shenanigan-like, or if there's some weird plays going on, everyone else just gets baited into it. And I think to a point, that's kind of happened with Locker Boys in that first series. It was messy from both the fact players not quite getting the figuring out where to be in the right time, but also in terms of like the gameplay. And now that they've played a bit more of a serious match, they are stepping up, and I like that. I like to see that. It does give me a bit more confidence for the rest of their season, even though it's going to be very hard to come back from where they are in the standings.
And I mean, we are talking about a 4-0 here, but you have to consider that 2 of those goals came in the dying moments of that match. Ooh. And it's actually going to be Locker Boys up first here, the first time tonight that they will be in charge of a game. They have to try and hold on to this one.
But it is a defensive sort of miscue between Fuzzy, I think it was Fuzzy and Pat, but like the important thing about that is the fact that we can see that they can be able to punish mistakes like that. I don't know if, I don't know if Daylight Knights, when it gets messy, if Fuzzy isn't there to kind of clean up the play, if they've got the skill handy, does miss that open goal though, and it's very unfortunate.
And not by a little bit either. We know Handy hits those. That's super unfortunate. Maybe he just assumed there was a defender available and didn't really take the time to check. But
yeah,
you know what? They've been doing well, but that's a bit of a breakaway for Daylight Knights. It's an awkward one though, and it should get cleared out. Handy takes the time to go to ground, and it means that Glizz should be able to chase this one upfield. Now, taking control of it, looking for the pass. Maybe the shot himself does come away. Handy back to the center, and Pat will clear it out. Now, some good pressure out of the Locker Boys. The first time we've really seen them stack onto an attack. As it does get away from them a little bit, they are able to reform it over and over again.
Yeah, and this control is really, really impressive considering it, like, there are multiple players trying to pull away from them.
Oh, Handy.
Problem is they might get punished a little bit for this one. The ball's not quite on target as Glizz is going to go up. His Warpsaw is in the perfect position as they always are, but just didn't quite find the angle. The Locker Boys are trying to make their tight rotations. They're trying to make everything work. And yeah, the tiniest little save there, but they need to get a clearance out.
Handy taking the little dull in action there just to take some boost, a bit of a double commit onto that, but they will escape unscathed again. The Locker Boys are getting a little lucky here, but it's not all luck as they form an attack. The pass nearly came out. Handy was ready for it, but it gets blocked away in defense. That was a brilliant defensive touch. Pat is going to secure it as well. It is an even ball game.
Pat just hanging around, holding that slightly further, more aggressive angle, being ready, coming up from that angle and actually completing it entirely themselves. I thought that was the pass up to Warpasaw, but just doing a really good job. Unfortunate touch by the defense. I think that was still going in though. You'd have to, correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I don't always see these ones perfect, but I feel like that was still going in, but an awkward touch by the defender. But yeah, how much better the Locker Boys looked. You highlighted it, exactly. They are looking really strong right now. I don't like this sort of situation where they're holding the same sort of space together, but when they're not doing that, they're looking really, really good. And here's a breakaway which might be able to prove it. The ball's going to cross goal. Can Handy get it? Not quite.
Pat had so much confidence to even do that. Now, the air dribble, this is incredible control. Gets the flip reset. It's not going to find the top left corner. That would have by far been the best goal of the day had he found that.
Yeah, and I feel like there was almost a kind of skill check mentality there from the side of the Locker Boys where they're just like, all right, buddy, just go for it. If you get this, we're not going to stop you.
Respect.
Yeah, like, honestly, our best bet at this point is hoping you miss and trying to get the rebound, which I appreciate that. I think that's like, in that situation, just kind of having the confidence to do that, yeah, I appreciate it. So Andy now has a bit of a breakaway off on the sideboard, does miss that shot, which could have been really, really big. There is a teammate waiting, and that was an awkward touch in the defense. But the ball didn't quite, oh no, it did! Handy is there!
Pops out just enough for Handy to find the angle into goal. Finds that left-hand side beside Pat. Wasn't quite quick enough to it.
Yeah, and that was, to be fair, I wasn't ready for Handy there. I thought, like, all right, you know, Glizz missed, that's it, that's the play done. Draw a line under it, but Handy with the perfect rotations. The Locker Boys have stepped up and indeed earned their M&Ms this game.
Handy gonna be back for this. Warper saw a shot on target, but Handy's patience pays off dividends there. As Pat takes control, a big flick over Glizz there will mean there's no risk of a shot, and it was handled well by Pat on that front. Now, Fuzzy gonna chase that downfield. It was a double commit past the defense, and somehow it's worked out. Warpasaw will take a free shot.
Yeah, might need to have a second look at what's happening with the defense there. Oh, they both, yeah, okay, I see. They both kind of stepped up in a line. It's that classic philosophy in sports, right? Where if you have two defenders standing in a line, you only have to beat one of them to beat both. If the defenders are staggered, you know, by at least a decent margin, you then have to go through both of them one at a time, and that does make your defensive line that much stronger. In that situation, Locker Boys a little bit too grouped in that one. They have a big double commit, and that might be another goal right away.
I have to ask the question though, what were Fuzzy and Pat doing? Well past both defenders. I don't want to say that they didn't deserve the goal, but there were definitely things going against them there. Had that gotten away, it's the same thing on the other side. Not only were the attacking side not staggered backwards, they were staggered forwards. Beat one and you have beaten everybody in that situation as well. So they have escaped with the luck on their side there a little, I think.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that, but that's it. Like, you know, whenever there is a sort of coin flip play, oh Glizz, no, yeah, there's nothing they could have done about that. Fuzzy Fruha just pulls out of the chaos again. Like I say, I think that's something Fuzzy Fruha is probably decent at. The ball's in an awkward spot, and they just finish, and they just, you know, they know exactly what they have to do to finish it. But yeah, no, that's exactly it.
Pretty good play there by Fuzzy, actually. He identified the small bump and the opportunity he had, turned back immediately, and was rewarded with a goal of his own.
No, I've really enjoyed watching Fuzzy Fruha. It hasn't been the big exciting plays which Warpasaw and Pat have made. There's Glizz answering again. I thought that might have been our final score in the 3-2, but no, the Locker Boys are still in it.
And we have a potential for overtime here with 16 seconds left on the clock and an even scoreline, 3-3. Not only is this the best the Locker Boys have done in a game, it's the highest scoreline they've achieved as well. This is huge for them. An opportunity, it's missed for Dalen Knights. 10 seconds left until we do see the end of regulation time. Will there be a goal to stop it though? No, there won't. Handy, a big miss there. Glizz there just in time, and it will be overtime.
Oh, Glizz had to take a deep breath in there. A big sigh of relief, I should say, after that play. But it looks like actually a reserved play by Handy, not going for the kickoff immediately, and that kind of took Dylan Knights by surprise a little bit, and that means the Locker Boys have an opportunity. The pass going off to Glizz. Glizz is going to let the space go, didn't have the priority on the touch as Fuzzy Fruha had the advantage, but again, kind of, you know, sort of playing with the tempo a little bit here are the other side of the Locker Boys. A demo though, it's a 3v1 for now, and this might be it. Warpasaw, you just have to touch it in, and it might have been the own goal there. Warpasaw did an incredible amount of work, take nothing away. But what a tragic end to such a fierce fight from the Locker Boys.
Very tough, but savable. Glizz came in at the wrong angle and wasn't able to find it off the post. Dalen Knights were always in this with a damn good chance, 3-2, but they have come out on top of a very, very tough game in the end. Locker Boys, you've got to shout it out to them for even taking that to overtime. It seemed like an impossible task to even do that, let alone take a win, and they were in with a shot. Dalen Knights come up just too big with those three players.
Okay, so everyone's readied up, but according to my score, that's the game.
Yeah,
I'm very
pretty
confused.
Sure
all right.
3-0.
The players baited me. They do it a lot. They got one back on us for for getting mad at them for messing up the servers in the first series, and they were like, haha, I've got you, Fetch. But yeah, all right, that's going to be our second game, of course. We do have one more, unless we'll double check to see if there is word from the admins about anything else. But I believe, as scheduled, we will have one more match coming in from Group D. And that should be an interesting one as well. Again, hoping for that, you know, chat, give us your energy. let's hope for the 3v3. Let's hope everyone's able to make this game, because that's what we want. We want a clean 3v3. That last game was incredible. Really, really enjoyed it. But let's have a big 3v3 to close out the night. We'll be back very, very soon. Hello and welcome back. It is High School League with AEL. Of course, this is week 3. We're dropping down to Group D for another match. This one is going to be the 1 and 2, I believe, placed SCC Gold against the 1 and 3, the 11th Legion from Milwaurie High School. My voice died as I was about to say that, but Milwaurie High School, there we go, just to make sure I've got it right there. One of those two will be correct statistically. My name is Fetch, this is of course Gex, and we are waiting to get into our next game. It looks like...
No, we're not.
maybe. We'll see if the players quickly join in. If they don't, nah, it looks like we're going to be having another remake, I think.
Yeah, we will have to remake that lobby very quickly, but I believe everybody is already ready to go, so it shouldn't be too much hassle to just get this one redone quickly, and we will put us back in.
Yeah, it should just be a second or so, but... Alright, yeah, so this match, again, to sort of give you a bit more the stakes, there's not probably going to be a high, a match in terms of it's not going to have, like, a big impact on the top of the ladder. In this group, there are still teams who are, I think there's a team in this group who is undefeated, whereas these teams both only picked up 1 win each. This will be for their second win, probably going to be, I think we decided they are statistically eliminated from finals, but, you still want to come in, you still want to try and build up your skills in the Rocket League scene, you want to do it for your high school, and possibly come back next season, because of course we do have 2 seasons per year. Come back next season and see if you can make a bigger impact there. These sort of games are really, really good practice, and if you're not picking up wins against teams around a similar rank to you, you're probably going to struggle to pick up wins in general. As it stands, I think we've got almost all the players in.
This is actually the second time we've seen the high school behind the Locker Boys, which is the same people bringing this 11th Legion there as well. So, Malibu High School, I believe it is?
That was the one which I was... my voice died as I tried to say it. Milwaurie High School. Again,
okay.
Let us know in chat if we're pronouncing that wrong. We're very sorry. Or, of course, Discord for the players who are, in this game, because a lot of players will, listen in. It looks like, okay, we're almost dodged disaster.
Okay.
I think.
Alright, is that everybody in?
I believe so. I believe one of the teams is going to be playing with a 2v3, and of course, that's unfortunate. But is it the same team again who's going to be playing with a 2v3? Because that would be.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering here. Who is it going to be?
No, it's not.
No, 11th Legion has the...
Oh, no, it is!
No, they joined the wrong team. It was... We got debated.
We did!
It's the 11th Legion. It's gonna be them again, the same high school turning up with the 2 players on the team here. This is brutal for them.
This is a confident high school. That's all I'm going to say.
I believe right now that 11th Legion are fighting off here for 5th place if they win, where SCCC is trying to get 4th here. They would only gain 1 position out of this, but it would send them to the top half of their ladder.
The important thing there is that we just saw Rule 1 get broken there in the background. I don't know if you saw it, but I was really excited about it. So I was about to touch on it.
Okay, alright.
And then suddenly there was a 3v2. And I don't know about this.
It didn't look like it was an intentional break, to be fair. They got driven up the wall and fell off at the end. That's acceptable. That's acceptable. You cannot disrespect the Rule 1 like that, though. You have to keep it if it's possible.
Yeah. I think we saw a GC player, I think, break Rule 1 the other week, and that was very tightening. Like, come on, guys, you do better than this. There it is, though. 2 goals very quickly coming through from the side of SCCC, and there's not probably a huge surprise when they do have the more players, and I think the lower, if you do get into these sort of lower skill teams, not to be too mean to them, but some of these teams are really good. My expectations for High School League is massively increased since watching these games. But these teams are still kind of developing. They're still trying to get their coordination things together. Might be newer to the game. I think it's harder to win to play into a numbers disadvantage from here. I think the top players, they have tactics and tricks up their sleeves, but maybe this might be an open goal just being missed by Jimby, and Any Steam did. Not quite connect with a follow-up either. But yeah, I think it's going to be even harder to play through for the side of Milwaurie and the 11th Legion.
What a save! Upex got the shot off on that, was rewarded with shot on goal, and was just eliminated by the defense there, who wasn't awarded with a save.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a little bit of team interference on that one.
Possibly, I mean, again, we are on the meme map. We are on the shenanigans center. So I do expect there to be anything, anything could absolutely happen. Upex, actually, that was a nice little pass off to Supersonic who just baps it in.
Left well. He understood that his teammate had the better shot here. Upex taps it across and leaves it, and Supersonic slams it home.
Yeah, that's just good coordinated play. That's just like good teamwork. And that's the thing. Like, we talked about it a little bit in the last series where, mechanics and things are all great, but sometimes the difference maker in these series is that team coordination, understanding where your players are. Of course, it's easy to say that when you have more players on the field. Supersonic just drives it home. And yeah, I think, not to sort of give spoilers, but I think this is probably going to be what's going to happen for the rest of the series.
Absolutely. 4-0 is already a pretty tough scoreline to overcome. 11th Legion looking like they're on the back foot for this series realistically here, and they should be 3v2, but it's the same story that we saw this same high school facing in the other group stage. Yeah.
I mean, they were able to give us a really, really good game 3 in that second series, so maybe there's something, maybe there's some potential here. But again, I think when you don't have that same experience, this is their B team. Is less likely to make the big comeback, less likely to make those big coordinated plays we saw from their sibling team.
Well, it's going to be another kickoff here, but 5-0, it almost doesn't matter at this point. 11th Legion are really just fighting this to try and get some confidence back into their game. Jimby sitting underneath that as it comes off the wall is one of the worst positions he could have had there. Goes right over him. Jimby now is able to get on top of it. Picks up the boost as well. Controlling the ball here now, but Jonesy takes control of the play. Going the other way. Taking it upfield, but it's just going to come out of the corner as Upex. What a center out of that, and Supersonic actually collects on it.
That was actually not bad, yeah. Like, that's the thing. This team has been able to make these quick decisions to sort of set up 1-2 passes and things like that. And I'm really liking it. I'm really liking it from the side of SCCC Gold. But, that is kind of just going to be... Like I say, it's easy to make these plays. That was a big pitch. That was really fast coming through. A bit of a nudge into the double commit. That's a little awkward. A little bit of a whoopsies. Was really worried that was going to end up being an own goal somehow. I don't know. It's just like the way that that sequence of plays went, that just kind of feels like how it's going to end up.
Yeah, like 120k an hour pinch into their own goal.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how did you guys even manage that? I will say, and I'm going to repeat this for the fans who might have just tuned in, 18 goals is the record so far in terms of, goals per game this season. 18-0, I believe, with the scoreline. I don't think we're going to see that this game. I don't think that's going to happen. And I'm kind of thankful for that. I think that if we're going to see that, like as much as these dribbling plays are quite, they're good, they're nice, I like them. It is going to get a little repetitive if we see that over and over again. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
I think Supersonic in particular is standing up as a particularly skilled player in this match as well, coming up with 4 of the 7 goals for SCCC Gold. That's very hard to say fast. But Upex actually picking up the Playmaker Award there as well with the 3 assists. So they are working together very, very well, especially that little pinch pass across that we saw from Upex. Definitely a skilled player there as well.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh. There's Supersonic with another one as well. You kind of highlighted them. They're on the right spot, right time to put that one through.
Well, really looking for that standout from 11th Legion right now, but it's been a little bit chasey on their end right now, unfortunately. And Jimby and AnyStream both sitting on fairly similar low-end points here. 8-0 is very harsh, but it's seeming to be just the truth of this match right now. 3v2 with the quality that SCCC has been showing here is going to be overwhelming for 11th Legion.
Yeah, they aren't able to make that find that open goal though that time, so that's a little unfortunate. But they found plenty of these other plays. That's a big lob up, but it just goes a little bit high. I was a little worried that might have been our pinch own goal we were looking for.
AnyStream to the center field. Jones, he's literally just going to sit in front of it, lets it come off of him, and then chases it himself. Good tap down, should center itself slowly at least. Oh my goodness, Upex pinches it off the top of his teammate at an incredible angle. Comes off top bins, and what a shot that is.
Yeah, really, really nice stuff. I'm a bit surprised that SCC Gold are not as high, like, so they are these lower ranks of this group. I think this is probably one of the stronger groups we're seeing based on, I think looking at the top team, I can't remember exactly who it is off the top of my head. But yeah, looking at that kind of information, I am a little bit surprised this team isn't higher ranked. That was a really unfortunate whiff, though. Maybe something like that might see why. I'm joking. That was banter. But you know, like, I think that it is easy to see them dominate a game when they have this numbers advantage, when it's an easier match, things like that. But I mean, there's some skills there, right? There are some definitely things. I am surprised they've only been able to pick up one game.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an uncharacteristicness from ViewSonic as well.
Exactly.
I love the highest quality banter is when you state that it's banter. That's
Oh yeah. Well, look, I've had a lot of criticism for being too dry with my sarcasm. Like, I'll be like, wow, you suck, and people are just like, I just beat you, and I'm like, yeah, I was being sarcastic, obviously. Come on, dude. So I feel like I need to put a disclaimer now. I just need to make a graphic at like the bottom third, being like, sarcasm. This is not. I promise this is a bit.
Public service announcement.
Yeah, exactly.
This is banter.
Fetch is a nerd who is too sarcastic. Yeah, that's it.
Upex wins that kickoff. Jimby on the backboard will turn away from it. Might have been called off there by any team, but it's an awkward play here. They keep getting in each other's way. They just need to give each other a little space here.
Yeah, but it is the dying seconds of the game. You know, it's pretty, like, I don't think either teams are putting their heart into that last sort of sequence of plays. But you're right, you know, a bit more space, a bit more things like that. It kind of is that, like that. It almost kind of changes the meta to make it more important when you are running into a numbers disadvantage. Well, an uneven matchup, I guess I should say. But it looks like all the players are keen to jump into the second game. SCCC Gold have that first win, as we kind of expected. You know what? I've noticed something here. And maybe this is something which, again, banter. Maybe this is something which the Mulari High School can criticize us, so maybe write a formal complaint about. Please don't. But this game seems very. All of these fields seem very sloped towards the orange side, because we've seen 6 games back to back go, or 7 games actually back to back go to the way of the blue side. So they're probably playing. I think there must be like some downhill shenanigans going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a metal ball. Maybe there's magnets under the field.
Ooh, that's probably it. You're right. Jonesy finds the opening goal of this one as well.
I wonder if they have to like clean the rust off that thing occasionally. I've seen some matches even in RLCS where the ball will sit in the middle of the field untouched for 10 seconds straight. It's just developing rust over there. It's not happening here though. Everybody onto that ball quick, and while it is first goal across to SCCC Gold, there is some commit onto the ball from 11th Legion. They just have to have any level of communication here. It's just not coming out. Bumps 3 times since kickoff already between the 11th Legion.
Sorry, you made a good point, but I want to take it back to that joke you were making about the rust, and this is, yeah, there's going to be another one. There it is. Still only 40 seconds to find a couple of goals, but yeah, I think it would be better if it's moss. I reckon that's the classic Rolling Stone gathers no moss. So if it sits in the middle of the field, it starts growing greenery on it. I think that would be very funny, and I think that's within. I think Psionics are memewords enough to do that.
April.
You know?
That's the April update.
Ooh, I would be into that actually. Psionics, get on it. But no, you're right. Like an explosive start coming through for the side of SCC Gold, as we kind of expect. There are some things which, you know, maybe could be done differently from their opponents, but there it is, just another one to put themselves at 3-0.
And it's not like 11th Legion aren't reaching the ball. They have potential when they make touches. Some of their touches have been very good at getting past the SCCC players. It just has been a matter of them being able to continue, because every time there is a touch, they seem to be put off of getting a second one by their teammate. Any communication and just that separation on field, trust in each other is going to make that a lot better, goals like this are still going to come out, but you kind of, after an 11-0 loss in the first game, you have to accept that this one probably isn't yours. Just do the best you can. Put that trust in your teammate. Send yourself up when it's your turn to go, and work on that ability to come back in at a later point and show that you have the ability to challenge a team like this later.
Yeah, and even like back in my day, we'd also talk about when you come into a game, there's always like a thing you want to work on, right? That's like the classic thing in all kind of competitive endeavors, be that sports, traditional sports, esports, whatever you're sort of trying to compete in. You always want to have like a thing you want to work on in a game. There's something where it's like, hey, we've been struggling with communication a bit, so you'll drill it in practice and you'll come into the game being like, that's what we want to work on here. And I think that you don't always necessarily want to be doing that in bracket. But I think this is a good opportunity. It's like, look, this game is probably gone. It's going to be incredibly hard. It's going to take a miracle for us to come back. What's something we can work on? The two of us as a duo, what can we highlight? Maybe it's pass plays. Maybe it's getting good touches. Maybe it's making those harder mechanical plays. And yeah, maybe you sack a game, but that's kind of fine. In a situation like this, it's like there's not really anything to lose, so you may as well go for that and come back and improve yourselves as Rocket League players.
Plus, it would be a better look out of them here as well. They would be able to come in and hold their heads high and say that they did their best and made sure that they were fixing errors, that they had the ability to adapt in a series, and that is such a huge thing at any level of the game. I keep saying that in RLCS even, that it's the teams right now that are able to adapt the most to all of the different teams in the region. They're the ones that are the most successful that are coming out right now. And it's a lot of young players that are making up that meta of players that can do that. You just have to stand up and be that team.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. And like we actually see with kind of some of the turbulent, and maybe turbulence is the wrong word, but it has felt a little bit like in the Oceanic scene, that top level of play has been a bit turbulent as to which team is the top dog, and I think that, maybe the top dog, given how Direwolves play sometimes, maybe the top dog was the wrong word, but hey, I agree. I think that is like, it is about improvement. It is about like, Rocket League isn't a solved game. You look at so many games around the world and it's like, chess has been played a million billion times. Rocket League hasn't had that. And, OS has the OS style, I'm not as well versed in International Rocket League, but yeah, if you're the ones who are stepping forward, making adaptations, working on figuring out your own style and improving on that, you are just making leaps and bounds at every level of play, be that the top level of the World Championships to, sort of Uni League, or High School League in this case.
Yeah, APAC also has its own style. It's called passing to the opponents. I don't recommend learning that one. Jonesy straight into goal. It's a really good read on this, and the quality of this SCCC team really coming up well. Gold is the name and gold is the game right now.
Yeah, 100%. They
not
are
ranked,
really.
Not just digging a hole. It's fine.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm sure. I'm sure that. See, I want to like my instinct is to go to the classic like self-deprecation. I wish I was gold. But I don't know. It's like one of those things where I think if you're an average player who's like not in the competitive scene, you get gold. I think you're kind of happy with that, Like obviously we're kind of more in the esports scene where it's like, oh, that's kind of cringe. You're gold.
I mean, like,
but
when you put in 3,500 hours into the game,
yeah,
you don't want to be there. But there's nothing wrong with most ranks. It's just it's a work in progress, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Especially because I think a lot of the people who are watching this aren't probably like the same audience who watch the top level play. Some of them would be like, I'm sure there's someone who has like watched a high school league, maybe not this stream, who like got gold, put it on Twitter, and was really happy about it, and like I'm proud of them. But the joke is still kind of funny, Yeah. It still holds up.
Right about now, somebody's like, that guy's played 3,500 hours of this game. What a nerd.
True.
It's fine. I embrace it. I am the nerd.
It's easy to get desensitized to those sort of numbers, though. Because, when you play a game competitively, that's what you do. You put that sort of time in, Like, I'm glad that, League of Legends doesn't have... it doesn't record how much time you've spent on the game, because, I don't have to, admit to what is probably an atrocious number in that. But yeah, the competitive games, they do that, right? And it's easy to spend, especially in Rocket League, quite a bit of time in the training pack. You can easily sink a couple of hours into that in an afternoon and just be like, oh my god, where'd the time go? So, I don't think that's too bad. I think it's a lot of time, but, As long as you're not still bronze, I think that's where it starts being a struggle.
Yeah, I double checked. It's 2,700. I'm not quite that bad.
Okay,
12,
okay.
we've just beaten the scoreline from last game, and Jonesy with exactly 1,000 points.
Yeah, there we are. That's neat. See, this is one of those things where if I'm, as a commentator, I'm like, I'd hold that. That looks really nice on a scoreline. But I know players don't think like that. they want to hit the
They
heights.
could. Let's be honest. If Jonesy didn't touch that ball again the rest of this game, it would probably go to SCCC gold right now. That is an insurmountable scoreline.
Actually, I want UPEX to try and get to 1,000 as well. That's the mission. They've got to get every single player to exactly 1,000. That's going to require some
Jonesy!
Oh,
No!
Jonesy! Disappointed, honestly.
Not only is it a touch, it's a goal. That is disappointing.
Yeah.
And he's one number off of it just being quads. 1-1-1-2.
Yeah, that's it.
It's over. It's over. This game is over.
I was going to make a joke, but I think
ruined
it's
it.
technically inappropriate. Very technically. But, you know, it's just because someone compared it to something else which we're not allowed to talk about on stream, and ever since then I'm like, oh no.
Oh, Supersonic.
14. We
Coming
actually
in
might
again.
see the scoreline broken. 18, remember 18-0 is the record in terms of scorelines for high school league. So it might happen here. 1 minute 14 left.
It's doable, yeah. It's interesting actually here for SECC. Supersonic came up as the #1 scorer and was the highlight of last game. Right now, he is sitting at the bottom of his scoreboard with half the score of UPEX in second place, and far below Jonesy with over 1,100 points.
To be fair, Supersonic's been played defense. You know, that's
Yes,
that's the heart
No,
of
I'm
the
just-
team as a defender.
It does highlight that all of these players are very capable, though.
No, you're right. It is a very good point. Yeah, it means sharing that sort of top score position around, that's important. You know, don't let anyone seem like they're
Build the confidence.
Exactly. That's it. You know, I mean, I don't think at this level the players are getting flamed on Twitter or anything like that. But you know, it's nice.
No.
It's nice when you get to give everyone a bit of a high scoreline, so no one can just be like, that person sucks. Get that player off the team. Replace them for, I don't know, Rocket League Legends 68.
I feel like people don't understand team play when that sort of things come up. 2 more goals until we hit that scoreline. 43 seconds left.
Yeah, it's a big ask. It's a big ask. It's totally doable, is what I was gonna say. You know, the exact opposite of what I said. But it's totally doable. You know, it's 43 seconds. This is where the 11th Legion just. I reckon they might. I think this is where 11th.
I don't know if they're gonna
Legion clutches.
crack it, but they will reach it.
Yeah, that's true.
No, they can do it. They can do it.
They gotta do it. No, I believe this is where 11th Legion comes back and scores like 3 goals, and it's just like, oh no. Okay, so does the record still count if it's like 19-1? As opposed to 18-0. That's what I'm wondering.
I mean, it's still the most goals in any game, isn't it?
That's true. I guess, yeah, I guess we have to have 2 different records.
But
This is something I've noticed about the NFL, which is like so different to Australian sport, is that they'll throw stats at you every second. It'll be like, this is the longest rushing yard in 3.5 minutes of play by a left-handed quarterback who went
they have
to
a
2 different
team
high schools. And
supplying
you're like,
them with that,
oh
though.
my god. Yeah, but it's so weird. Like, who cares? Like, okay, I love me some left-handed players, but who cares about the 2 high school left-handed rushing yards in 3.5 minutes? Like, oh my god, that's so specific.
11 seconds, 1 goal to do it.
1 goal to win the lead, and I don't know, I can't do a Lord of the Rings bit here. Oh wait, maybe they give the goal over. Maybe it's a
fake kickoff. Jonesy might be able to get it centered. 3 seconds. Do they do it? It's
too
it's
high.
a goal. No,
Oh.
the tap is good. It would have been in, but it reaches ground, and the record remains met but unbroken.
Yeah, and I think we have to. I think we have to go with the classic rule of like one team hit it first. They're the ones with the name on the plaque. I'll say it. You know, if ever anyone says
11th
like,
Legion wins, right?
yeah, basically, it's like you know, it's like in Counter-Strike or something like that, where it's like you ran down the time as a defender, so you win basically. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is gonna go to 1 more game still. Bringing it back to our actual game at the moment. This is a best of 5. Still 1 more game to play. And yeah, I don't like 11th Legion's chances. I'm gonna be perfectly brutally honest. I don't think 11th Legion. I think it's very hard for them to win this game based on the state of the series and the lack of tempo. Feel free to disagree with me on that one, but I think it's a bit tricky for them.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think 11th Legion are taking back the whole series. 2v3.
If this reverse sweep happens, oh my god, I don't know what I'll do with my life.
It would be the biggest troll ever if they've just been sitting back and then they're like, okay, so should we actually play now? And then they break the record.
Yeah, they break the record. It's turnabout. I think while any team is sitting in goal like that, playing the dedicated goalie position, I don't think you're probably going to win like that. That's not...
No.
Oh, we had a big rant from Formal a couple weeks ago about that one. Oh.
Yeah, dedicated goalie. No, it's a thing, man. No,
yeah, I believe it.
I can't even joke about it. Somebody will take me seriously and go and do it. Don't do it. Rotate.
Optimal use of space. No, you rotate through the dedicated goalie. That's the strategy. Like, I don't mean like have someone static in goal and have like the rotating defender and like proper structured defensive play. No, I mean like just when the ball's in attack, you just have two people taking turns to get boost, go back to the goal line. That's it.
Yeah,
that's how you have to play it.
Yeah.
2 goals with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock right here. Basically the exact same scoring pace we saw last game, really.
Yeah, which is actually ironic because first game has been the lowest scoring game so far, which is a ridiculous statement alone. But the starting pace of that first game was much higher.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, actually. You know, we kind of, like, the first game is always a weird one. It doesn't, depending on the teams, can change what, like, weird means. But yeah, like, the first game's usually the outlier. And certainly here, I think our team of SCCC Gold has kind of figured out what they can get away with, and it's a lot. Yeah. And they're like, oh wait, 3v2 is a very like easy way to play the game. We're just gonna go for goal after goal after goal, and I think that's yeah, we're seeing
Look,
that.
If play ranked and always be on the 3 side of a 3v2, yeah, that would be an easy way to do it.
I think it'd be alright. Yeah, no, I'm not even
be
make
SSL
goal.
doing that.
Anyway.
Every time.
I'm glad that we went 2 different directions with it. That's good. But yeah. Look, we need to come back a 3rd time, but I don't think we have enough time left for the broadcast, you know? Human's supposed to come in 3s, and we've done 2 so far, but... anyway, yeah, this game...
I'll work on the 3rd.
Alright, good, thanks. I'll be there for the setup. Don't worry, I won't botch it at all. It's fine. Jonesy missed the open goal! Oh, no!
ViewSonic should turn on this eventually, but it's a 3-pointer. Practicing for his learners.
Yeah, Supersonic was like, it's fine, this will be a mess for a bit and I'll come in and finish it off. And then the mess kind of came to them and they got kind of carried up in it, you know, a bit of a wave in that regard. So actually, any team managed to do a decent job of cleaning that across the face with a bit of tempo, but Supersonic is going to be there. Oh, okay, eventually they get it. Eventually they clean it up. It's fine.
But I do think that means that there's no chance of breaking that record this game. There's been a little while now without a goal, and that's going to slow the pace of this one down dramatically.
Yeah, it's not quite 2 minutes, but it's getting up. It's getting there. 2 minutes in with only 5 goals is definitely not the pace you want to keep. But it's not a speed run. You can make, you can make up time pretty much wherever you want. You can keep pinging goals forward. But I feel like once again, you know, our Mawari team has stepped up a little bit. I mean, it's not quite the resurgence we saw in the second game. That was massive. But again, I don't think the 11th Legion really have that. Like, it's just so much harder in this sort of situation. And they don't have 5 games to prepare for that big comeback, so, you know.
Look, normally we would make predictions as to who we think wins the game. Let's make a prediction as to ending scoreline. I'm going to say 14-0.
Okay, see, last time I was 2 points over. So I'm going to say... Oh, actually, that's a point. I'm going to say 15. I'm going to do the classic annoying thing of being 1 point difference.
One off.
But yeah, I was going to say 16. But last week, we did this exact same thing, and I was 2 points over. But, you know, I think you're right. I think 14 is the smart bet, but I'm going 15 just because I need to go something different. We'll see how this goes. To be fair, at this point with the scoring pace, it should be higher, because we're not quite half into the game, and the score's at 7-0.
I suggested that we pick the score. I should have let you go first. That's not very fair of me. This is what the competition we're going to do, and here's the right answer.
yeah, exactly. I actually, interesting. That was a 2 teammates having a go at each other there, but you know, it's fine. Oh no! I thought we were going to get away with it. I thought we were going to get away without mentioning our own goals at all, but here it is.
To be fair, that's 11th Legion's first goal.
I thought it was their second. I thought they scored in the first game.
Did they? I
don't
don't remember. It's so many goals ago.
Yeah, it's literally like 20-something goals ago.
Oh, the kickoff goal.
There it is. Supersonic finds it 9-0. Actually, at the moment, we're looking on track for a record. We are looking on track for a record here.
They've really turned the pace up.
Yeah, and I feel a little bit bad for any team there. They kind of went forward expecting like a blocking play or something, and then the ball just went over their head, and they're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
That's like a classic like experience when you're kind of getting used to Rocket League. It's just you think you're in the right position, the ball flies over your head.
What a save.
Like, oh, that was a very good save though. You're right.
And his team really smashed that downfield. Nobody to take care of it though, and Crutch will miss the save on that one as UPEX packs up the 10th goal in this game.
Yeah, and obviously I feel bad for 11th Legion being down players and stuff, as well as the pace just being way too fast for them. SVC gold. We talked about from the perspective of the 11th Legion, how this game is kind of a write-off, so you may as well work on skills. I actually feel like that's what SCC Gold are doing, and it feels like maybe that's why they are able to pick up the pace so much. I don't think that they've probably ever played this confidently in this league, and that's, I know, a big like prediction because we haven't seen a lot of their games, but like, I feel like this looks like the most confident this team has played, and it's because they've had that time to experiment. Oh no.
Oh no, Jimby, he almost had that off post as well. He knew that that was going to be a goal as well if he didn't touch that. It was lined up. Jonesy would have had full reign of that net. 11th goal will go in off of the 11th Legion.
Yeah, so this might be a collaborative effort in terms of the actual getting that record for the biggest winning margin at the moment.
Collaboration.
But, yeah, let's look. I don't know. At this, look, it's hard to say that this is a. And again, it's like 3v2. This is not us trying to trash the 11th Legion for being bad at this level of play. It is incredibly hard to play at 3v2. It's almost just not. Yeah, I would say it's almost impossible. You know, and so it's not us being like, they suck. It's just so unfortunate. This is the situation they're in, and it happens, right? Like, you know, you can't always. There's so many things which can go wrong in terms of like esports, playing online video games, things like that. It's not just a matter of show up and play. It's like, you know, go make sure everything's working. Got to make sure that, you know, like all these things line up, and there are scheduling issues and things like that. So I don't blame them for this, but God, it's rough. God, it is a rough situation to be in.
UPEX gets the center. Will it be Jonesy or Supersonic? It will be Supersonic picking up his 8th for the game.
Yeah, that's it. Supersonic is back to just being like, it's putting in every single shot just about. We are seeing their win celebration pretty much constantly in this game.
He sat back last time and they didn't hit the records. He's like, no, it's happening now.
Supersonic is like, none of this. You guys playing like rookies, and I gotta show you how to really, you know, put this goal in this record in its place. That said, you're a little bit slower on this one. I think they're in all kind of awkward situations. Never mind, Supersonic wasn't on the screen.
Again.
If Supersonic's not on the screen, I've got to assume they're lining up the goal. That's the new way to reframe this, I think, for now.
Yeah. Did line it up well, actually. Had a little bit of hesitation there as it bounced higher than expected, but got to it nicely and had that on target. Now 5 goals, 1 minute 20 to beat that record. They've reached my prediction, so it's looking well and truly like you might have beaten me on that one.
Well, here's time for 11 Legion to clutch out. There it is. All right, so if no goals are scored, I'm spot on. I think if we both end up being more than like 3 or 4 goals off, I can't count that as a win. Like, yeah, I'm closer, but like it doesn't matter at that point. We both failed, I think.
Yeah.
But you know, to be fair, they did have a very, very quick flurry of goals after that. They picked up the pace massively.
Yeah, they really did. Like right as we predicted, they were like, "Oh, that's it, that's it, boys. They've made the prediction." Oh, is that not in?
Off the crossbar. All right, UpX says, yeah. Nah, yeah, no. Supersonic's had too much of the glory of this game. I'm gonna put one in as well.
Oh, Jonesy looked for the ground pinch too.
It's not exactly like they haven't been doing anything in the game, but that's, you know, keeping themselves predominantly on the scoreboard. 3 goals, 1 minute left, 1 goal over 20 seconds. Definitely, that's the pace there. I think that's the exact pace they're on at the moment. Pretty close to.
Yeah, pretty well. Bang on. Yep. And it's looking like it could be again. Jonesy's going to run it, and his team's letting it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of the state they're at the moment. I think Jimmy had a bit of a slow start on the other one. I don't know if we can really blame that one on internet either. I had a quick look at the ping, and it all looked alright. So yeah, I don't know. But hey, that's how it is. Or maybe those little. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
2 more with maybe almost a full minute left. I think they might actually do it again this time.
I think they got it.
There's a bit of a missed opportunity there. Upex is going to wait for that to come down. They're trying to be super cautious about how they take this, but the clock is ticking down. They need 34 seconds. Do they have the time? They might with this one. 30 left for 1 goal.
Yeah, one was looking a little tricky there. But at least team not quite getting the height to sort of disrupt it, and so there it goes. 18 and 30 seconds left. Surely this is it. Again, this is where 11th Legion makes the clutch, right? This is where
we said that last time, though.
Yes, but if I say it enough, eventually it'll be alright.
Yes. Okay. It's true. Statistically, that has to be factual.
Yeah, and then I just have to delete the
there
board.
it is.
It'll be 100% prediction. Oh, okay. I thought
Jonesy
Jonesy
steals the record goal.
I thought Jonesy was saving that, and I was about to be the biggest tragedy in Rocket League history, but there it is, Jonesy. Jonesy actually creeping up in terms of the goals as well there. That's their 4th, even though it was a steal. But hey, should have secured it better, honestly.
Jonesy really desperately wanted to be the man to take the record, and he did it. That's a beautiful goal steal. Respect for it.
And then,
again, 20. They're even 20. They drop it here, surely. 12 seconds. Just leave it at the even 20. Make me happy.
Oh, yeah, they could, but it's still 12 seconds, and I think Jonesy wants to get close up, because then they'd all have, odd numbers. I don't know. I think maybe Jonesy looks for another one. I reckon Jonesy is the next one to get this. This is my second backup prediction. They failed the first.
Showing my age, but showing my age, but you could go back to the old meme. 21. As soon as it comes out.
It's true. You could do it. And there it is. No, okay. We go with the level 20. SACC Gold, take that 3-0 series, and that is going to be it for our day of games. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. There was some fun. Had. I'm going to be honest. We will have some more games next week. Please stick around for that. We'll be getting into the absolute tail end of the season before we start getting into finals. So make sure to stick around for that, and we start getting that big, intense matches. My name is Fetch. This has been Gex, and we will see you all possibly next week, possibly in the future. Keep an eye on our social medias for all the events happening in AEL. We'll catch you all later.
See you later.